Good evening, everyone. Welcome to OET Listening Pro-S, and this is 𝐴𝐵𝐵 from 𝐻𝐿TS Academy. Yes, I'm back after 1 week with yet another interesting session on OET listening. So last week we had a session on part C of OET listening. Today I've come up with part A of OET listening. So how are you guys? Are you doing good? I know many of you are having your exams coming this Saturday. I hope you have prepared well for the same. So yes, if there is anyone who is joining here for the first time, let me give you an idea regarding what I am planning to do. So firstly, we'll be having a pre-explanation of the questions. We'll be anticipating the information together. We'll try to figure out the keywords together. And after that, an audio will be playing for the same question. And then we'll have a discussion on the answers. Okay? So I hope everybody is joining. And the material will be displayed on the screen for you now. And after that, we'll be starting right away. Okay. So as you know, for the part A, we do have 12 questions, right? We have 12 questions for part A. And I am aware that most of you do have an idea regarding the strategies that you have to apply. So I hope the material is clear for you and it is displayed on the screen. Please go through the question and then we'll be starting. So you know that common techniques that we use in part A is, first one is anticipating or predicting the information, then is using the keyword properly. But in the material, mostly we are going to do is, we'll be anticipating the information together or predicting the information together, and then we'll find out the keyword. Okay. So yes. Okay. So you can see the question here. You hear a doctor consulting a patient named Mary Dawson about her asthma condition. So you have an idea regarding that this is a conversation which is happening between two people. That is a doctor and another person is Mary Dawson, and we are having a conversation about asthma condition, right? Okay. So I hope the question, you are able to see the question. The first question here is mentioned is Mary Dawson 6 months ago diagnosed with dash. So tell me, is there any particular keyword over here, or is there any particular word you would like to focus, or is there any particular information you are planning to anticipate? അല്ലെങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങൾ predict ചെയ്യാൻ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്ന information എന്താണെന്നുള്ളത് mention in the comment section, and then we'll move forward with the same. Anticipating means we are trying to predict the information. You do have an idea, we predict the information accurately, but that will be helping you to understand regarding the type of answers that you can expect. So which will be helping you, audio helpful to find out the exact answer. So tell me, 6 months ago and diagnosed with is there, and we have a blank space. Ensure that you are reading before and after your blank space. ഇവിടെ നമുക്ക് blank space തൊട്ട് മുമ്പിൽ മാത്രമാണ് വേർഡ് കൊടുത്തിട്ടുള്ളത്. എന്താണ് കീവേഡ് നമ്മൾ യൂസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പോകുന്നത്, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഏതാണ് particular information that you are planning to anticipate here? Tell me regarding the same. Is there any particular information നമ്മളിവിടെ anticipate ചെയ്യാൻ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നുണ്ടോ? Do mention the same in the comment section. Is there anything you are planning to do here? Okay, here we can see, I would like to focus the word diagnosed with and the type of information that you can anticipate or predict over here is. Hi Devi, good evening. Okay, tell me, is there any particular keyword that you would like to include? Which is the keyword you would like to include here? The word we are planning to focus is diagnosed with. So what are we going to focus, or what is the anticipated information, or what is the information that you are going to predict over here? So you can clearly understand it is mentioned 6 months ago and diagnosed with. So that can be a condition. And ivada orka, you can see it is mentioned asthma condition, right? So you can actually anticipate. നമുക്ക് predict ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്ന എന്താണ്, ഏതെങ്കിലും ഒരു specific medical condition ആയിരിക്കും, and which might be related to respiratory issues. Respiratory issues ആയിട്ട് related ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഏതെങ്കിലും ഒരു particular information ആയിരിക്കും you will be able to see over here. Okay. Then next one is, I'm moving forward with the next question. Last week, and we have a word experienced a blank space while climbing stairs, right? Last week we have another word experience, and while climbing stairs. Specifically പറയുന്നുണ്ട്, there is something happening to this patient while climbing stairs. ഓർത്ത് വയ്ക്കുക, the patient is having, what is the condition of the patient? Asthma. The patient is having the condition called asthma. So now tell me, what is the key information that you are going to predict? ഇവിടെ എന്ത് information ആണ് നമ്മൾ predict ചെയ്യാൻ പോകുന്നത്? പറയൂ. Is it going to be a condition over here, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അതൊരു symptom ആയിരിക്കാനാണോ സാധ്യത? നിങ്ങൾക്ക് എന്താണ് question വായിച്ചിട്ട് മനസ്സിലാക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നത്? Is it going to be a condition, or is it going to be something which is related to any symptoms? Because especially ഇവിടെ പറയുന്നു while climbing stairs and experienced. Okay, so what is is there any particular keyword that you're planning to include? Okay, so here you can see question number 2. If you are going through the same, what I would like to anticipate over here is you have to focus on the symptoms that occurs during a physical activity. What is the physical activity? Yes, Banu, symptoms. Yes, you're right. So what is the physical activity which is happening in this question number 2? എന്താണ് physical activity ഇവിടെ നടക്കുന്നത്? In question number 2, what is a physical activity? Yes, Sonia, symptoms. While climbing stairs, the patient is experiencing some particular problem while climbing stairs. So word experience is there. So while you anticipate what you can experience, or നമുക്ക് എക്സ്പെക്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ സാധ്യതയുള്ള ആൻസർ എന്തൊക്കെയായിരിക്കും? Patient might be feeling, shortness of breath or breathlessness. Why? Again, I'm taking you to our condition. The patient was having asthma condition. So അതുമായിട്ട് related ആയിട്ടുള്ള informations ആയിരിക്കും the patient might be telling you. Okay, so here we are anticipating another information that is going to be a physical activity. Okay, now moving forward to the question number 3. Ensure that you are going through your bold, there is particular information which is mentioned in the bold letters. ഇവിടെ bold letters കൊടുത്തിട്ടുള്ളതാണ് patient's description of symptoms. അപ്പോൾ നമുക്കറിയാം ഇനിയുള്ള 3 question is going to be regarding more descriptive of the symptoms. Symptoms in a പറ്റി കൂടുതൽ ഡീറ്റെയിൽ ആയിട്ട് പറഞ്ഞു തരുന്നതായിരിക്കും. Okay, shortness of breath during, and we have a blank space. So പറഞ്ഞോളൂ ഏതാണ്, which is your anticipated information over here? Is there any particular information that you are planning to anticipate or predict? ഏതാണ് നിങ്ങൾ ഇവിടെ anticipate ചെയ്യുന്നത് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ predict ചെയ്യുന്നത്? Is there any particular information that you are planning to anticipate or predict over here? Undo? Or are you not planning to include any information? Shortness of breath പറയുന്നു, and we have another information. Any particular information? So the word you can actually focus is shortness of breath. While you listen to the audio as well, focus that you might be sitting. Okay, maybe that can happen. Any other informations? Again, that can be an activity which is associated with shortness of breath. Patient ഈ പറയുന്ന ശ്വാസം കിട്ടാതിരിക്കുന്ന എന്തെങ്കിലും ഒരു സാഹചര്യത്തിൽ അസോസിയേറ്റഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഏതെങ്കിലും ഒരു കാര്യമായിരിക്കും അവിടെ പറയുന്നുണ്ടാവുക. So it can be an activity which is involved in shortness of breath. That can include sitting, just like Banu said, or it can be running, or just like the way we mentioned earlier, maybe while climbing stairs, anything. So ensure to listen it properly. Okay, I'm moving forward to the next one. Wheezing, especially at night. So the patient does have wheezing, and which is only happening which is especially happening at night. And the next question is mentioning difficulty dash due to asthma attacks. So which is the key word and what is the information? Physically active. Okay, difficulty dash due to asthma attack. What can be the information നമുക്ക് ഇവിടെ predict ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്നത് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ anticipate ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്ന ഒരു information എന്താണ് for question number 4? Is there anything that is actually yes, physically active is something Banu has said. Is there anything apart from that, any particular information you would like to add apart from the same, apart from physical activity? So as you can see, so something is actually hindered by asthma attack. It can be physically active, or it can be affecting his daily activities. So ensure to understand that it will be something which is hindered, or hindered means which is going to be having a problem with the patient's daily life. So difficulty, maybe physical activity, as I already mentioned, and we can focus on the word difficulty over here, as well as asthma related impact. So mainly difficulty. So while you listen, ensure that you are able to find out the exact answer for the same. Now moving forward with the next one, tightness in the dash. What can be the next question? Question number 5, which is the information you are planning to anticipate? Predict anticipate information. Ensure to come in the same. Is there any particular information? Tightness in the dash. Again, orca, it is patient's description of symptom. So first of all, we can only go for a keyword here, that is tightness. So is there any particular information that you are planning to anticipate here? Tightness in the dash. What can be something? Is there any particular information? Chest. Yes, Banu, that can be chest, because as it is asthma, what you can actually expect is a body part which is mentioned that can be related to any respiratory distress. So you can always expect that can be chest. Okay. And always remember, when you go for an anticipating of an answer, it should be having a connection with the condition. നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞ condition അല്ലെങ്കിൽ patient ആയിട്ട് സംസാരിക്കുന്ന condition ആയിട്ട് related ആയിട്ടുള്ള information ആയിരിക്കണം you should be mentioning regarding the same. Okay. Now the next heading it is given here is triggers. We can see the next information is triggers. And the question number 6 is notable triggers include and dash changes in the weather. So we have it is mentioned notable triggers include. Notable ആയിട്ടുള്ള triggers എന്തൊക്കെയാണ് include ചെയ്യുന്നതെന്നുള്ളത് mention ചെയ്യുന്നു, and changes in the weather. Specifically പറയുന്നു changes in the weather. So tell me what is the keyword and what is the particular information which you are actually anticipating. Is there any particular keyword? അല്ലെങ്കിൽ നമ്മൾ എന്തെങ്കിലും ഒരു keyword ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നുണ്ടോ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ are you planning to anticipate any particular information over here? Is there any particular keyword you would like to include? So the question was notable triggers which include and changes in the weather. That is something we have as a clue. So tell me what are some of the information that you are planning to predict? What are the anticipated information? Always remember to anticipate the information. I know you just have 30 seconds of the same. Ensure to utilize your instruction time. I mean, while they are telling about the instruction, ensure that you are including that particular time period to read the question as well. Okay. So I would like to give the focus here on notable triggers and the weather. That is something which of the word I would like to focus. Is there any particular word that you would like to focus? Anyone else apart from that? And tell me what are the anticipated information. It is specifically mentioning notable triggers. What are something that you can expect here? So triggers are usually going to be ഒരു environmental ആയിട്ടുള്ള ചേഞ്ചസ് ആയിരിക്കും, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ allergens ആയിരിക്കും. It can be either allergens or environmental thing. That is something we can anticipate over here. It can changes in weather is especially mentioned, and notable triggers are mentioned. So it can be maybe smoke, dust. You can expect any type of information which can act as a trigger for what condition? That is asthma condition. Okay, so that is why we are anticipating this particular information over here. Now moving forward with the question number 7. Patient mentions issues with dash. So here, what is the keyword? നിങ്ങൾ എന്താണ് keyword ഇവിടെ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്? Is there any particular keyword that you're planning to include? Any particular keyword? Do you think is there any particular information that you would like to include over here? Here it is mentioned notable triggers, patient mentions with dash. So that can be. So the focus here you can include is on issues with. What can be something which is causing the patient with an issue? എന്തായിരിക്കും? What can be? Is there any issues? Yes, that's the keyword. Yes, Banu, you're right. Any other information, or what are the anticipated information? Maybe there is something which is actually acting as an aggravating thing which is related to his asthma or any allergy. So you can expect any of the information which is actually an aggravator related to asthma or any allergies. So again, you can expect that there is going to be an allergens or any particular dust. You can expect any sort of information. So as it is suggesting the heading triggers, you can expect that is going to be another trigger. Trigger എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞൊരു information താഴെ കൊടുത്തിട്ടുള്ള heading ആയതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ you can expect that is going to be acting as a triggering point for the patient's condition, which is asthma. So it can be smoke, it can be dust, it can be something else which is making it too difficult for an asthma patient. So think in such a way, think about the context and try to link the information with the same. Okay, now we are moving forward. The current treatment. So it is mentioned current treatment, that is your next information. Always, I do always mention to my students, read your questions twice and do not skip any informations over here. So while if you are lost while you listen to the audio, the bold letters will be helping you. Okay. So here we have a specific information. It is mentioned uses reliever inhaler approximately dash times a day. It is going to be easy. Tell me what is the keyword over here and what is the particular information that you can expect. It is mentioned uses reliever inhaler and you do have another information approximately dash times a day. So what are the keyword? Is there any particular focus that you would like to include? Tell me. What are the keywords that you can include over here? See, here I would suggest you go for the word uses. We can take a word uses over here and reliever inhaler and anything else? Approximately. Okay. So what are you expecting here? Is there any particular information you are expecting here? Is there any particular information you are expecting, or what is the predicted information over here? എന്താണ് നിങ്ങളോട് predict ചെയ്യാൻ പോകുന്ന information? It is very easy. It is specifically mentioned times a day. You can expect that is going to be a number. That's going to be a number which is related to frequency. So you can actually listen for any specific numerical answers which is going to be stating the same. Okay. You can specifically remember the same specific informations which is actually mentioning any number, because ഇവിടെ വ്യക്തമായിട്ട് പറയുന്നുണ്ട് uses reliever inhaler approximately എത്ര times of day എന്ന് പറയുന്നുണ്ട്. So you can expect a numerical value over there. Okay, that's going to be an easy one. Next one, preventive medication not taken regularly, often forgotten in the a dash or a blank space. We do have a blank space. Now tell me what is the keyword here. Is there any keyword? Focus keyword. Preventive medication. The patient is not taking the preventive medication regularly, and also it is specifically mentioned patient എന്ത് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്, medication എടുക്കാൻ മറന്നു പോകുന്നുണ്ട്. Often forgotten in the dash. അപ്പോൾ specifically മറന്നു പോകാറുണ്ടെന്നുള്ളൊരു സ്പേസ് ആയിരിക്കും അവിടെ മെൻഷൻ ചെയ്യുന്നത്. എന്തായിരിക്കും? Which is something you do expect here. Which one do you think is something here? I would suggest you go for the keyword preventive medication and the forgotten. That can be a keyword. Now, what can be the answer you can expect here, or the anticipated information? Is there any particular information that you're actually anticipating over here? Are you predicting any information over here? So here you can see, as I already mentioned, it can be a specific time of the day or even time period which is related to forgetting the medication. So you can expect that they can mention about a time of the day, maybe evening, morning, afternoon, any particular time period which will be specifically indicating while the patient is not able to take the medication properly. Adana avada specifically mention cheyyunnathu. Ini moving forward to the next question. The next blank space, the bold letters, we have doctor's recommendation. So here, the information is going to be mentioned by the doctor, right? Suggest using the preventive inhaler consistently. Okay, as you can see, previous information, the patient was not taking the medication regularly, and apart from that, doctor is also suggesting you to use a preventive inhaler consistently. Now, recommends scheduling a dash test to assess lung function. So what is the keyword and what can be the predicted information over here? Is there any particular information that you're predicting over here? What do you think is the keyword and what is the predicted information over here? Okay, is there any particular information? Is there any particular information that you're planning to include as a keyword here? So here it is mentioned, so just using, recommend scheduling, that what is going to be the keyword. So here, what we can use the keyword as scheduling, then we have test over here, and you can take this lung function, which will be your keyword. And is there any particular information that, yes, Banu, that can be some investigation. You're right. The patient, it might be scheduled for a test or any investigation procedure to find out what exactly, or to find out or to assess the lung function. Yes, you're right. Thank you. Now, next question. Advises keeping a dash of daily symptoms. What can be the information you can expect here? So here, we can take the keyword as keeping, and we have daily symptoms over here. Now tell me which is going to be the anticipated information here. Is there any particular anticipated information which you are planning to include? Advises keeping a dash of daily symptoms. What do you think? So you can activities. Okay, yes. So the doctor is actually, advising to keep activities of a daily symptoms, or maybe the doctor is asking the patient to keep a method for any tracking progress of the patient's daily symptoms. How patient symptom is actually progressing or, decreasing day by day. Appam adine patti specific idea vekkunnadinu vendittu patient is mentioning the same. Okay, now the next question and the final question, follow-up appointment in dash week. That's another easy question here. So here I would go for the keyword follow-up appointment, and you can actually anticipate the information here and predict the information. Do comment the same. Yes, months. Yes, Banu, you're right. It is specifically mentioned week, so you can actually expect that the follow-up appointment is going to be within maybe few weeks. You can expect for a numerical value over there. As it is specifically mentioned week over here, you can clearly anticipate that particular information is going to be a numerical value which is relating to any time frame. Okay, so in order to get an idea. So that was about all the questions. Ensure that you are reading every other information and listen closely to every other information while the audio is played for you. So now the audio will be played, and afterwards we'll have a clear discussion of the answer. Go through it, and we'll be coming back soon.
Part A, Extract 1, questions 1 to here. You now have 30 seconds to Part A, Extract 1, questions 1 to 12. You hear a doctor consulting a patient named Mary Dawson about her asthma condition. For questions 1 to 12, complete the notes with a word or short phrase that you hear. You now have 30 seconds to look at the notes.
Good morning, Mary. It's good to see you again. I understand you're back to discuss your asthma. Can you start by telling me how you've been managing since your last visit?
Good morning, doctor. Well, I was diagnosed with asthma about 6 months ago. However, over the last 4 months, I've noticed a significant increase in my symptoms, especially shortness of breath. Just last week, I felt really out of breath while climbing stairs, which was concerning.
That must be quite alarming. During which activities do you experience the shortness of breath? Is it only during exercise, or does it occur at other times as well?
Primarily during exercise, like when I'm walking fast or climbing. But I also find that I wake up at night feeling breathless, especially when I'm lying down.
So it affects you at night too. Can you describe how the wheezing feels? Is it constant, or does it come and go?
It seems to come and go. I usually wheeze when I'm trying to sleep or after a long day at work. It's particularly bad if I've been exposed to any allergens, like dust.
Exposure to allergens can certainly trigger symptoms. Have you been able to identify any specific triggers that exacerbate your condition?
Yes, I've noticed that being around smoke, whether from cooking or cigarettes, makes it worse. Also, the weather changes seem to play a role. I've noticed flare-ups when the air is particularly cold or humid.
That's helpful information. How do you manage these symptoms when they occur? Have you had any particular strategies that you find effective?
I usually use my reliever inhaler, but lately, I've been relying on it more often, about 5 or 6 times a day. I've also been trying to avoid known triggers as much as possible.
It's concerning that you're using your reliever inhaler so frequently. Are you taking your preventive medication as prescribed?
I've been a bit inconsistent with the preventer. I often forget to take it in the mornings, especially when I'm rushing to work.
It's important to maintain a consistent routine with your preventive inhaler. I recommend setting a reminder or keeping it in a visible spot. Would you be open to that?
Yes, I'll try that. I want to manage my symptoms better.
Good. It's crucial to have a clear plan. In the meantime, I'll need to assess your lung function. I recommend scheduling a spirometry test to gather more information on your breathing capacity.
What will that involve?
The spirometry test measures how much air you can inhale and exhale and how quickly. It helps us understand how well your lungs are functioning.
Okay, that sounds reasonable. How long will the results take?
Typically, we can discuss the results within a week after the test. In the meantime, I'll also refer you to a respiratory specialist for further evaluation.
I appreciate that. I noticed my symptoms worsened after moving into my new house. Could environmental factors be contributing to my condition?
Yes, absolutely. Factors such as dust, mold, or even new furniture can release irritants. We should evaluate your living environment and consider any possible allergens.
That makes sense. I'll make sure to keep the house clean and try to minimize exposure to irritants.
That's a good plan. Let's schedule a follow-up appointment in 2 weeks to review your spirometry results and adjust your treatment as necessary.
Thank you, Doctor. I feel better knowing there's a plan in place.
That is the end of Extract 1.
Yes, how did it go? Was it easy or was it difficult? I hope it was easy for you. Don't worry, we will be discussing the answers soon. Okay, I'll be reading out the answers. So the first question's answer was asthma. Okay, and second one, it was shortness of breath. Third one, it was exercise. Fourth one was sleeping. Fifth one is chest. Sixth one was smoke. 7 is allergens. Now question number 8, it was 5 to 6. Then the next is mornings. Question number 9, the answer was mornings. 10, it was spirometry. spirometry, spirometry. 11 is diary. Then final question answer was 2. So now tell me regarding your how much were you able to score? Were you able to get all 12, or were you not able to get the same? Tell me regarding the same. Do mention the same in the comment section. Okay, so now we'll start with the discussion of the same. I hope you were able to get the answers properly. Was it too difficult for you? I hope it was not. Okay, the transcript of the conversation, that 11, very good, Sharon. Which one did you miss, Sharon? Is there any particular, which question did you miss? How about the others? How did it go, guys? So this was an exclusive material of Neethu's Academy. Do watch the sessions every Wednesday so that you can get exclusive listening material for the same. Yes, okay. Without any further delay, I'm going to start. Okay. So the question number 1 was asthma, right? And you can understand the question was diagnosed with 6 months ago. The patient was diagnosed with. So you are here, 11th question. Don't worry, we'll be going for the discussion. Okay. Well, I was diagnosed with asthma 6 months ago. So it is very evidently stating here regarding when did the patient got the condition. So here it is mentioned patient had this condition 6 months ago. So that was a very forward answer അല്ലേ വളരെ സ്ട്രേറ്റ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ആൻസർ ആണ് നമ്മുടെ ഓഡിയോയിൽ വളരെ എവിഡൻ്റ്ലി കൊടുത്തിട്ടുള്ളതാണ്. ഐ ഹോപ്പ് എവ്രി വൺ വാസ് ഏബിൾ ടു ഗെറ്റ് ദി ആൻസേഴ്സ് പ്രോപ്പർലി. നൗ മൂവിങ് ഫോർവേഡ് ടു ദ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ നമ്പർ 2 ആൻഡ് ദി ആൻസർ വാസ് ഷോർട്ട്നെസ് ഓഫ് ബ്രെത്ത് എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ഡാഷ് വൈൽ ക്ലൈംബിംഗ് ദി സ്റ്റെയർസ്, റൈറ്റ്? Okay, here you can understand the patient do mention here, I felt really out of breath while climbing the stairs, which was concerning. അതിനു മുമ്പാണെങ്കിലും you can it is mentioning I've noticed a significant increase in my symptoms, especially shortness of breath. അതിന് ശേഷം ആഡ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ളതാണ് കേട്ടോ അടുത്തുള്ള ഇൻഫർമേഷൻ കൊടുത്തിട്ടുള്ളത്. സോ again that is also clear and direct because നമുക്കറിയാം while climbing stairs the most common thing an asthmatic patient do experience is going to be a shortness of breath, which is something you have to include your critical thinking over here as well. Now moving forward to the question number 3. The question was shortness of breath during dash. So here again that is going to be it is explicitly mentioned exercise, while it could be various other activities. വേറെ പല ആക്ടിവിറ്റീസ് ആവാമായിരുന്നിട്ടും ഇവിടെ പറയുന്നുണ്ട് എന്താണ് patient says she experienced shortness of breath primarily during the exercises. Why it is primarily during the exercise? The patient here it is stating ഇവിടെ it is asking, do you experience shortness of breath? Is it only during the exercise? Exercise ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ മാത്രമാണോ എന്ന് ചോദിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. പ്രൈമറിലി ഡ്യൂറിങ് എക്സസൈസ്, അതായത് മോസ്റ്റ്ലി എപ്പോഴും ചെയ്യുന്നതിൽ ഇപ്പോൾ പല ആക്ടിവിറ്റീസിൽ ഇൻവോൾവ് ആണെങ്കിലും അതിൽ ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതൽ പേഷ്യൻ്റ് ഈ പറയുന്ന ഷോർട്ട്നെസ് ഓഫ് ബ്രെത്ത് വരുന്നത് എവിടെയാണ്? ഡ്യൂറിങ് ദി എക്സസൈസ്. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് വി ആർ ഗോയിങ് ഫോർ ദ സെയിം. ഓക്കെ, നൗ the next one here is the question number 4, difficulty dash due to asthma attacks. So here the answer was sleeping. So the patient does discuss here having difficulty sleeping due to asthma attacks. So the term is directly stated over here, where here it is directly stated over there, that is patient does have a difficulty while sleeping, which is actually making it clear because എന്തൊക്കെയാണ് നമുക്ക് അതിനു മുമ്പ് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങൾ. വീസിങ് എസ്പെഷ്യലി അറ്റ് നൈറ്റ് പറയുന്നു, is it constant ചോദിക്കുന്നു, and patient is trying to say when I'm trying to sleep or after a long day at work I usually wheeze. So difficulty sleeping due to asthma attack. So from that particular information it is very evident that patient is finding it difficult while sleeping while the patient does have the condition. അതായത് ഈ പറയുന്ന കണ്ടീഷൻ കൂടുതൽ വരുമ്പോൾ ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടാവുന്നത് എസ്പെഷ്യലി ഡ്യൂറിങ് ദ നൈറ്റ് ആൻഡ് while the patient is trying to get a good sleep. Now next question എന്തായിരുന്നു? Tightness in the dash. Okay, so patient describes experiencing tightness in the chest here, which is again going to be direct over here, and the answer is very clear and explicit over here as well. So അതിനുശേഷം എന്തൊക്കെയാണ് പറയുന്നത്? Exposure to allergens-ന്റെ കാര്യം പറയുന്നുണ്ട്, and what else do we have? Yes, okay. Now next question, that was question number 6. Notable triggers include dash and change in the weather. So the answer was smoke, alle. So I have noticed that being around smoke, whether from cooking or cigarettes, it is mentioned here. So that is again mentioning the word smoke over there. So notable triggers include dash and changes in the weather. Appom the patient is having difficulty being around smoke, usually while they're cooking or while they're using the cigarettes. That is actually making it worse. And adinte kuda added information aayittu parayunu weather changes seem to play a role, and patient is mentioning regarding the other descriptive explanation of the same. Okay, now the next one was question number, yes, patient mentions issues with. What is here that can be difficult for some people here? So the answer was allergen. Were you able to get the answer allergen? Did anyone? Yeah, I think Sharon got the answer for the same. So here, how did you come up with allergens? Any idea regarding how did we come up with allergens over here? Because that is going to be an inferred meaning, but don't worry, you won't be getting any inferred meaning while you actually go for the exam. So here the patient does mentions regarding the asthma symptoms, which is actually exacerbated by the condition, that is particularly by DEST. So patient is trying to, explicitly connecting her symptoms with allergens, making the, answer direct, despite potentially being emphasized. So കോണ്ടെക്സ്റ്റിൽ നോക്കുമ്പോൾ അത് ലെസ് എംഫസൈസ്ഡ് ആണെങ്കിൽ കൂടി ഇവിടെ അലർജൻസിൻ്റെ കാര്യം സ്പെസിഫിക്കലി മെൻഷൻ ചെയ്ത് പോകുന്നുണ്ട്. എക്സ്പോഷർ ടു അലർജൻസ് ക്യാൻ സർട്ടൻലി ട്രിഗർ സിംറ്റംസ്, അതവിടെ ഓൾറെഡി പറയുന്നുണ്ട്. അപ്പം അലർജൻസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഒരു ഇൻഫേർഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള മീനിങ് ആണ്, റാദർ ദാൻ എക്സ്പ്ലിസിറ്റ്ലി സ്റ്റേറ്റഡ്. സോ ഹി ആസ് ഓൾറെഡി മെൻഷൻ പേഷ്യൻറ്റ് ഹിയർ ഇസ് ഡിസ്കസിങ് ദ ട്രിഗേഴ്സ് ഓഫ് ആസ്മ അല്ലേ. ഇവിടെ നമ്മൾ സംസാരിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത് പേഷ്യൻ്റെ ട്രിഗേഴ്സിനെ പറ്റിയാണ്, ആസ്മ റിലേറ്റഡ് കണ്ടീഷൻ ആയിട്ട്. സോ അവിടെ പറയുന്നുണ്ട് ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് പെർട്ടിക്കുലർലി വേറൊരു ഇൻഫർമേഷൻ പറയുന്നതാണ്, ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് പെർട്ടിക്കുലർലി ബാഡ്, ഐ ഹവ് ബീൻ എക്സ്പോസ് ടു എനി അലർജൻസ് ലൈക്ക് ഡെസ്റ്റിൻ്റെ കാര്യം പറയുന്നുണ്ട് അവിടെ. അപ്പം what else is there? So patient is telling that dust is an example of an allergen അല്ലേ, so that triggers the condition. So mention of the allergen is clear and it is directly stated by the patient. പക്ഷേ ഈ പറയുന്ന പോലെ ഒരു ബ്രോഡർ കോണ്ടെക്സ്റ്റ് ഓഫ് സിംറ്റം ആണ് അവിടെ എക്സ്പ്ലെയിൻ ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ളത്. സോ അലർജൻ ഇസ് ഡയറക്ട്ലി സപ്പോർട്ടഡ് ഹിയർ, പക്ഷേ അതൊരു ഇൻഫേർഡ് മീനിങ് ആയതുകൊണ്ടാണ് പറയുന്നത്. ഇവൻ ദോ അതിനു മുമ്പ് അലർജൻസിൻ്റെ കാര്യം ഇവിടെ പറയുന്നുണ്ട്. ആൻഡ് നമ്മുടെ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ വാസ് അണ്ടർ ദി ട്രിഗർ, ദാറ്റ് വാസ് ദി ട്രിഗർ, and patient mentions issues with. So apart from notable triggers which include the smoke and changes in the weather, patient also mentioned that exposure to allergens can certainly trigger the symptom. That is something patient has already clearly stated. Okay, now let's move forward with the next question. The answer was 5 to 6. That was a very direct answer. See, question endarnu, uses inhaler approximately etra times a day. So here it is mentioned, I usually use my inhaler, but lately I've been relying on it more often, about 5 or 6 times a day. But patient പറയുന്നുണ്ട്, patient is already using the inhaler, but rather than that, right now patient is relying it on more often, and specifically the numerical value is stated 5 to 6 times a day. Okay, now the question number 9 was preventive medication not taken regularly, often forgotten in the. Okay, so നമ്മൾ നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞിരുന്നു ഏതെങ്കിലും ഒരു ടൈം പീരീഡ് ആയിരിക്കും പറയുന്നതെന്ന്. സോ ആർ യു ടേക്കിംഗ് യുവർ പ്രിവെൻറ്റീവ് മെഡിക്കേഷൻ ആസ് പ്രിസ്ക്രൈബ്? സോ ഡോക്ടർ ഇസ് ആസ്കിംഗ് വെദർ ദ പേഷ്യൻറ്റ് ഇസ് ടേക്കിംഗ് ദ പ്രിവെൻറ്റീവ് മെഡിക്കേഷൻ ആസ് properly, and patient is telling, I've been bit inconsistent with the preventer. I often forgot to take it in the mornings, especially when I'm rushing to work. So patient is clearly stating patient is not consistent, patient is not using it properly, and specifically mentioning that patient does not remember to take the same during the morning time period, while the patient is going for the work or while the patient is rushing to the work, patient is not able to take the same. അതവിടെ ക്ലിയർലി പറയുന്നുണ്ട്. ഓക്കെ, നൗ ലെറ്റ്സ് മൂവ് ഫോർവേഡ് ടു ദ നെക്സ്റ്റ് വൺ. ദാറ്റ് ഇസ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ നമ്പർ 10. Recommends scheduling a dash test to assess the lung function. Okay, so here it is mentioned, it is crucial to have a clear plan. In the meantime, I'll need to assess your lung function, and the doctor is recommending scheduling a spirometry test. And here it is mentioned regarding what exactly is a spirometry test, which is something measures how much air the patient can inhale and exhale and how quickly they can do the same. So it will be helping them to understand how well the lungs are functioning. So these informations are already clear. Okay, now let's move forward with the 11. Advises keeping a dash of daily symptoms. Okay, advises keeping a dash of daily symptoms. What is advices keeping a what was the same? Sorry. Okay, dash of daily symptoms. Okay, this one was an inferred meaning, I know, which might be one of the reason why some of you might not be able to get the answer. So here, why diary? Because it is used explicitly in the advice given by the doctor. here it is mentioned in the meantime, what it is mentioned in the meantime, I will also refer you to a respiratory specialist for the further evaluation. And here afterwards, the patient is telling, I appreciate that I notice my symptoms worsened after moving into my new condition, and could environmental factors be contributing? So here, patient is telling as they went for the how long the results will be taking. So patient is asking the same. Adinu marubadi aayittu doctor ennaanu parayunnathu, we can take the results or discuss the result within a week after the test. And in the meantime, during that time period, he is also going to refer the patient to a respiratory specialist for the further evaluation. Further evaluation vendi or respiratory specialist ne koodi add cheyuvaanu. And what is the patient telling? I appreciate that. Patient is also noticing that her symptoms is getting worsened after moving to a new house. And patient is asking another question. Can environmental or could environmental factors be contributing to my condition? Okay, so doctor is actually advising on the need for a clear plan, but directly mentioned cheyyunnilla, that is keeping a diary of or log of symptoms. So patient's acknowledgement, ഇവിടെ patient acknowledge ചെയ്യുന്നത് എന്താണ്, environmental factors ആയിരിക്കുമോ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് കൊണ്ട് ഇവിടെ സ്പെസിഫിക്കലി സ്റ്റേറ്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ടില്ലെങ്കിലും ലോഗ് ഓഫ് സിംറ്റംസ് വേണമെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഇഫ് ദേ ഹാവ് ടു കീപ്പ് എ ഡയറി, അതാണ് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. സോ ഡസ് നോട്ട് ഹാവ് എ ഡയറക്റ്റ് ബേസിസ്, ദ ടേം ഡയറി ഡസ് നോട്ട് ഹാവ് എ ഡയറക്റ്റ് ബേസിസ് ഇൻ ദി ട്രാൻസ്ക്രിപ്റ്റ്. ഇൻസ്റ്റെഡ് ഇറ്റ് ഹാസ് ബീൻ ആക്ടിങ് ആസ് എൻ ഇൻഫേർഡ് മീനിങ് ഓവർ ഹിയർ, because that is something a reasonable method to track asthma symptoms based on typical patient management strategies. Okay, അതുകൊണ്ട് മാത്രമാണ്. So to as I already mentioned, it is more of an inferred management suggestion rather than directly stated piece. Appo don't worry, as I already mentioned, you are not going to get any inferred meanings while you go for the exam. It is going to be directly mentioned in what you listen while you go for the same. Okay, now the question number 12 was follow-up appointment in dash week. So it is clearly mentioned, let's schedule a follow-up appointment in 2 weeks. So the doctor is asking to schedule a follow-up appointment in 2 weeks to review the spirometry test so that we can adjust the treatment as necessary. So that was about all the questions and answer. Do you have any questions to ask? If there is anything, please do comment the same. I can clarify the same thing for you. Is there any doubts you would like to get a clarification? Any specific doubts? I hope the extract was clear for you. Okay, I hope there is no further concern. If there is anything, please do mention the same on the comment section so that I can give a clarification. So please ensure to get as much as possible from the part A, that is 24 answers from part A, and focus on each and every other information. Try to anticipate the information, try to read your question properly, manage your timings. If you are not able to gather any particular information, leave it, go forward with the next questions rather than focusing on the information that you left. Adine focus cheyyunnadinu pagaram ensure to go forward with another questions and answers. And I hope I am aware that many of you are writing your exams on coming Saturday. All the best, guys. I hope you will be able to clear the same. And if there is any doubts, you can mention the same. Yes, I'm not able to see any doubts. Okay, I hope it was clear. So I'll be meeting you on next Wednesday with yet another material. So thank you and have a good night.